button. All right, so we're going to start in a few seconds, guys. I want to start exactly on time at 11. Everybody can hear and see me. Why can't I see myself? There we go. Okay, so we're starting. Welcome to this webinar for the Vancouver Animation School. And for short, we call it VANAS. Okay, myself, I'm your host. My name is Calvin Leduc. I'm the head of faculty as well as being one of the computer character animation instructors. I'm just going to briefly talk about myself. I have over 20 years of professional animation experience, both 2D and 3D. And I learned here in Canada how to be a 2D classical animator. My first job was up in Ottawa, and I worked on a TV series called The Raccoons, just for a few episodes. And I decided I wanted something better. So I moved to Montreal and worked on commercials for a year, worked at 2 commercial houses. Then I wanted to advance from there as well. And I just going over to get into the Vancouver Animation School here. Went to California and worked on the first Alvin and Chipmunk feature. And then I saw a job that was available in London, England, and that was to work on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was a good project to work on. Then I went to Germany, worked on an animated feature there. I was invited back by Spielberg to work on American Tail. So I went to London for another year. And then Toontown for Roger Rabbit was done by Dale Bear. And I went to California and worked with Dale Bear on commercials for 3 years. I became a permanent resident. I then went to Dream Quest, worked on a Sony science film there for 6 months. I worked for Rick Rich's Swan Princess. And then I got a call from Disney Feature Animation again. And I worked on traditional features for an additional 10 years. Things like Pocahontas. For Pocahontas, I worked on Miko the Raccoon. For Hunchback of Notre Dame, I did the Gargoyles. For Hercules, I did the Pegasus, the Winged Horse. For Mulan, I did Mushu the Dragon. In Tarzan, I did Turk, a gorilla. Fantasia 2000. I did Interstitials, Mickey Mouse, Emperor's New Groove. I got to do Yzma, that crazy old lady. Treasure Planet, I did Long John Silver. So at that time, they were making the switch from doing traditional animation to computer animation, and they decided to train us, anybody that wanted to learn. So I spent over a year learning, and at that time, you had to do a little of everything yourself. So I had to model my rig and rig the rig, put the controls in, and texture it, and light it, and animate it, because I wanted to be an animator in 3D animation. Then my first job was down at Sony in San Diego, working on a Neopets video game. I was doing the cut scenes, the animatics. And then I did a feature film up in San Clemente. And then I decided to come up here to British Columbia, Vancouver. I was the head of a school for 4 years. I became a contract instructor and worked for about half a dozen different schools for a few more years. I did my BA online, and then I went down and I was a professor down in the United States in Washington State for a couple of years. And I came back here then to work for the Vancouver Animation School. I was recording lessons and teaching and developing curriculum. Okay, so I've guess I've been here a little over 9 years now. Let's go and look at the school. We're an online school, guys. Okay, we've been around for 11 years, and we started with only 2 courses. That's computer animation and concept art. You can choose if you want to study in Canada or in the United States, and that means that your credentials will be either American or Canadian. Click on either one, depending on which type of credential you want to get. I'm scrolling down and you can see these are our animation courses, our concept art courses, our visual effects courses, and our video game courses. So if you have never studied online, or you don't have a portfolio, or you've just never done art, or you're probably going to be wanting to take our introductory course. It's 3 months in duration, and it gives you kind of a taste of everything we have to offer. Okay, you're going to be getting, and I'm just going down, our next intake is beginning of April, but and all of our instructors work in the industry. I want to find what it's showing you. So you're getting 3 months, and really what that means is you're getting 2 weeks of concept art, and then 2 weeks of modeling. So you design something and then you'll model it. And then you're getting 2 weeks of 2D animation followed by 2 weeks of 3D animation. And then you're also getting another couple of weeks of effects animation, and then video game design. All right. Now, if you know the course you want to take, and I'm just going to get back to here, our diplomas are 1 year in duration. That's the length of the digital schools up here in British Columbia. And that's designed to make you ready to enter the industry. Being an online school, you can study from anywhere in the world, and you can do your assignments at any time. What we have are 2 live classes a week, which is great. I did a BA online and there were no live classes, and it was very hard to get in touch with the teacher. Having a live class, the way we structure it is you hand in your assignments on the weekend, and then at the beginning of the week, Monday or Tuesday, you're going to have a live class where the teacher will look at your assignment, critique it, and answer your questions. Then a couple days later in the week, you're going to get another live class, and that's where the teacher is demonstrating and lecturing what the next assignment is. Being online means that you need your own computer, your own monitor, your own headphones, your own software. We use, for the most part, free software, but we also use the Adobe Creative Suite or Creative Cloud package. So what software you're using for 2D animation is Adobe Animate. You can see where all our graduates are currently working. This is telling you when the class times are happening, instructors again. And there's 4 terms in a year. Each term is 3 months long. Both 2D and 3D are set up very similar. You're learning the principles of animation in the first term. Then you're going on to learn body mechanics, locomotion, which means walks and animal walks, like 2-legged and 4-legged. In the third term, you're beginning to learn acting. So you're doing mostly pantomime. It's acting without dialogue, and there is some dialogue as well. And you do your final piece, which is a vignette. It's a series of short scenes, and you're doing 2 characters. And that's what the industry wants to really see in that last term. We ask that you either be a high school graduate or 19 years of age. Talked about the portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio, you can do our Intro to Digital Arts course for 3 months, and that'll serve as your portfolio to get in. System requirements are here, showing the type of software you'll need, types of computers, a PC or a Mac will work. Most people use personal computers. You'll need your own internet. You'll need a webcam so we can see you. It's mandatory that we can see that you're in the class. You need an operating system. A graphics card is required in order to do animation. And a nice size monitor, and preferably 2. We do have an interesting thing. We added it the last couple years. And being an online school means your teachers can be anywhere in the world. I always hire the best I can find. And students can be anywhere in the world. But we also have what's called our combined course for each of the diplomas. And taking the combined means that one day a week, it's either Thursday or Friday, you'll come to the Vancouver Animation School and take your classes there, as well as the other 2 classes that you get. You'll be sitting with other students that are attending the school. They could be in the other courses. We like to do a bit of a combined exercise where everybody contributes to some assignment. We have guest speakers. We do movie screenings. We actually go out to the theater. And we were doing studio tours, and as soon as COVID allows us to do studio tours again, we will continue them. A great thing about our school is we are accredited, meaning you have proof of the quality of our courses, and this helps you to obtain work visas. And I didn't mention this about the combined course is foreign students that come and take our combined course are allowed to work 20 hours a week while they're going to school, which helps with your expenses. Prices are listed. Right, I have some examples I can show you actually. And I think I have them actually sitting in this folder. I'm just going to tell it to open. All right, so we do have some rigs that we've created for students to do their animation, and this is a sneak type of walk the student's doing. And this one is a quadruped dog walk. And this is also a rig. Some of our exercises, usually about half and half, are hand-drawn, and some are by using rigs. Going back to our other course now. Animation, 3D animation. It's the same idea as the 2D, but it's 3-dimensional. Both are highly in demand at the moment, guys. If you didn't realize it, there's more animation being produced than ever in the history of animation in the last 100 years. People are really watching a lot of online streaming and effects animation as well. Let's take a look at some examples. This was done by a student, one of my current students in term 2, and it's a walk cycle. It's actually a double bounce walk cycle, which makes it pretty special. I'm very proud of that. Happy for her. Another student's character walk. We often have professionals that will return to be educated, either for obtaining visas or just improving the quality of their work. This is that quadruped walk cycle I was telling you about, I usually prefer to teach it as a walk, but if you want to use a horse or you want to use a tiger, that's your choice. Here's some pantomime. Is it actually going to show up? Yes, it is. And it's just really exciting to see people get these rigs and doing their first acting. And different styles. This is a very cartoony style. They call this rubber hose. Everything bends a lot, deforms a lot, stretches and squashes. Oh, if you want, you can go into the chat and type where you're from. It's always neat to see who's attending and where they're from. Myself originally from Ontario, but now I live here in British Columbia. This is a dialogue piece. Okay. The instructor I remember that worked on that one is an old friend of mine, and he actually owned 3 studios at one time, and he's a director of animation. So, I'm very glad to have him as one of my instructors. Okay, let's move on to another course. Animated short films, the diploma. In order to take this course, you already must have studied to be an animator for a minimum of a year. Either our school or some other school, doesn't matter. Or you're a professional animator that's worked in the industry for years, okay? And I have great news. The student that did our first student that completed her own film, her name is Valera Answorth, just won last week a international animation festival competition as her best student film. And I'm very, very happy for her. So you can take it in 2D or 3D computer animation. This is a short course we have, professional career development. It's only 1 month in duration. And what I like about this is it covers a lot of things that most schools don't. It's, you can either be somebody going currently to our school, or you could have gone to another school. And what it does is we have this professional that works in a large studio. It's at Sony here in Vancouver. And they're doing, how do you correctly do interviews? How do you put together your portfolio? How do you put together your resume? How do you do your reel breakdown? How do you contact studios? All this stuff's very important. Actually, most people don't realize that if you're getting an interview and not getting the job, it's because you failed that interview. And this is where you can get in that practice and do a successful interview. I remember myself, and even negotiating tactics. It took me about 10 years to really get good at interviews and negotiating a contract. This one over here, writing for animation. To my knowledge, it's the only online writing for animation course that exists. We always have professional writers that write for studios. And what this course does is it allows you to create your own pitch Bible for a television series. Now, concept art in animation, everything has to be created. Everything has to be designed. And again, the diplomas are all 1 year in duration. Let's take a look at some examples. Okay, I know I have examples. I'm going to check over here in this folder. Concept art. Give that a second to come up. So here's designing a character. You have to design your characters, their wardrobe, their hairstyle, the jewelry, the clothes. You have to come up with color schemes, backgrounds. The environments have to be designed for different seasons. You're working with tonal, black and white, and you're working with color. For video games, so it doesn't matter if it's for a game, a commercial, a feature film, everything has to be designed. And here's the layers in a video game being designed. You're working out the perspective, you're working out the light and shadows, and you're then doing color passes. This is a piece of visual development, and you're coming up with different color schemes. You can see this across the bottom. What if it was more scary or exciting? So different color schemes. And you're part of a team working in an animation studio. So when you're designing things, often you're going to have to come up with blueprints, because you're handing this off to another person and they'll be modeling it. Vehicles have to be designed, and it could be futuristic from the past, it could be fantasy, whether it's trucks, cars, boats, planes. Weapons have to be designed, and you're working with silhouette to come up with strong designs, strong visuals. Even the energy, how the blast comes out, and here's some particles coming out, have to be designed. Every character has to be designed, and here you're seeing the tribe with the witch doctor and the warrior, and every character's costume. Every house has to be designed, every implement, every prop. Look and feel. At the beginning of a production, they want to know, what does the character look like inside that environment? Here, it's cat cooking. It could happen. And you can see the cooking utensils, the fire, the smoke, the flames, the walls. You can see the colors, the shadows, the highlights. You're taking drawing classes in most of our courses. It's important to know how to draw. You're drawing realistically, you're drawing fantasy. That's definitely cartoony as well. Purple octopus in a bathtub. You're taking some modeling. You're designing characters, creatures, and here you can see rough design. The next stage is modeling it, and the next stage is texturing and lighting it. Working with silhouette, so it's easily recognizable. Vehicles, so here's a spaceship. Creatures. There are a couple matte painting assignments in concept as well, which matte painting is using some photographic reference and you're inserting different elements on top of it. So spaceships inside of a city. Again, characters, whether they're animals, human, putting them in environments, coming up with the lighting schemes. And anthropomorphic, which means animals that can walk and usually wear some clothes. Example of realistic characters. A robotic character, an old-fashioned character, and a bit more fantasy. This is another example of matte painting. So you can see, cliffs with a castle and then a big planet in the background. And this was done by one of our students. I remember this was a mature student. He was working professionally, but he wanted to get into the animation industry. And what I love about this piece is the fantasy elements. I'm like a comic book superhero. You can see this person flying with the lightning. And they retrained and went on to work for Sony. feature film. Visual effects. Okay. I'm just going to show an example of visual effects. Visual effects, a lot of schools will not teach it to the high level of quality that we do. We do it with the software called Houdini. It allows you to change a lot of the variables. It's what the industry actually uses. You don't want to just be using Maya where you push a button. I didn't mention for 3D animation that we actually use Maya as well. And that's free for schools and teachers and students to use. So that's the industry standard, Maya. I do have an example of a student's effects work. So they're learning how to make the grass move, coming up with electricity, that's an effect, the smoke's an effect, dust is an effect, and fire. Advanced 3D modeling. So, you can click on that and get in there and see what's happening in each of the terms. All the examples I'm showing you are student work. I just want to get down and go over. So you're learning inorganic at the beginning, and that's things like buildings, interior, exterior. This next term you're doing environment and anatomy, and so that you're learning more about how to model the characters and organic environments outside. You can use, there is some modeling done with Maya. You can either use Mudbox for the organic or ZBrush. In the third term, you're moving on to advanced modeling and you're doing animals. And the final term, you're picking the assignments that you want to add to your portfolio and polish them and make them better. Let's take a look at some examples of modeling. This is done by a Mexican student. He actually came to the combined course. So I remember this student. And just a month ago, he told me he's got his first studio job. So you're doing creatures. You're doing, let's call this a human character. He's got big ears, but you're doing cartoony characters. And you're doing vehicles, whether it's cars or spaceships. All the way back up here. Was there? Now we're on visual effects. Matte painting. Now, matte painting is very specialized, okay? We started with only 2 courses. We're up to 10 diploma courses now at the school. And the majority of them, it was the industry coming to us and saying, we just can't find enough people. Please, will you teach this? And that's what it was with digital matte painting. The moving picture company came to us and said, we'll help you develop the course and find teachers if you'll teach matte painting, because we can't find them here in North America. You had to go to Europe to find people. The idea is you're starting with live action and you're adding to it. Here's some examples. Somebody shooting this back alley, and then they're going in and digitally adding snow, making it wintertime, right? And I come from Ontario, where when I grew up, it was 6 months of winter. This is what it looks like. It's a good job. An example of apartment building, and then kind of post-apocalyptic, too much vegetation. Another back alley, another winter scene, somebody's residence where they live, hometown, and then kind of a war zone. And I do have a video as well. And where is that? Video game? No. here. So you can see the process here. This is the final matte painting shot. And then in this breakdown, you can see what they're adding to it. They started with the trucks, and they put in a city, and they added the hanging city in the sky. Very cool. All right. Video games. This course is called Video Game Design, and right down here. What I like about this course is it's teaching the students how to build a video game, as opposed to the numerous schools that I've been at, and they call their courses video games, and all they're teaching you is how to model a character or model a car. Okay, we have professionals that know how to build video games. We use software like Unity, and I do have some examples. Two different examples here. This is somebody, and I'm just building their own 2D game. So this is student work. He kind of looks like a pig to me, but maybe it's just because he's pink, but you get this jumping character that is stomping on mice and stealing coins, or maybe just borrowing. This is actually a recording of one of the review classes. The other example I have is right here. And you're seeing somebody working in 3D with Unity, and they are doing camera moves. They're going through the, I guess it's a village, a bit of a castle. Nice scale. All right, up here at the top, we've only had this course called esports for 2 years now. And what you learn in the esports course is how to put together a tournament for esports. It's not actual how to play esports games. It's you wanting to have a full-time job as a manager. So you're learning how to manage a team and how to put together the tournaments. We also have this virtual reality course that we added in last year. I believe we have a student that is in his very last term to finish, our first student for virtual reality. Virtual reality is what it sounds like. We use Oculus Rift software and the goggles, and you're learning how to draw, design, paint, light, and animate in virtual reality. So you can go through our site and you can see past examples of webinars. I believe you can also check out our faculty right here under VANAS. I'm always, like I said, hiring the best I can find. In 2D, my instructors are either animation directors or they own their own studios. We have extra support classes. There's an extra Learning Maya class every week that you can attend. It's optional. And this term I'm teaching it, but usually it's being taught by somebody that we have that owns their own studio and uses Maya professionally. We have homework help sessions, 2 of them each week. If you're having any problem with our site or with submitting or with your assignment, just contact us. We'll help you out. I could take you, I think, for a very brief view of our site. And then I'm going to ask for some questions, open it up to some questions. This is our page. The login is here. I can go in. I'll probably switch it over to board. The board allows everybody that submits their work, everybody at the school can see it, and everybody can give comments and feedback on it as well, right? Naz is one of the combined students in concept art, designing characters, you know, a great ogre she's done right here. You can go down and see animation exercises, concept art design exercises. Here's some 2D animation designing. Here's some more life drawing. School news, every time we have an announcement, we post it. You can easily see the number come up. Curriculum tells you what the assignments are going to be. Student library is all the assets for the students. Community, everybody in the school exists here. So all your instructors and all the students. Orientation videos to bring you up to speed on how to use our platform. Your calendar shows when all your classes exist, messages, everything. It's an internal chat, right, for texting. Every message that is sent is archived here. So it's a very nice setup. We're actually on our 3rd platform and shortly going to our 4th platform. And now I'm going to open this up to questions from you guys. Just type them in the chat, or I believe there's a Q&A also that you can enter your questions into. Did you guys want any clarification or me to repeat anything? You can also contact us, right? Or Erica, what would you prefer people to contact us through? What site? Is it info@vanas.ca? Would you like questions sent directly to you?
Thank you, Calvin. So we have here the students who wants to join to our courses, so they could send us an email through the info@vanas.ca. Thank you.
Okay. That wasn't a question, was it? More of a statement. The platform is 24 hours a day, right? And what I really like about online is you can work on your assignment any time of day, right? And you can submit it anytime. Well, up to the deadline, which is usually noon on a Sunday. As opposed to traditional schools where every day from 9, and I remember some classes being as late as 8 in the evening, you're expected to be there at the school, right? You don't have to worry about transportation. You're not flying to another country. You're not paying for rent in another country. You're not, right, having to take care of the food expenses. And when you want to go visit family, the traveling costs again. You're basically staying where you live at the moment and being able to attend this education. We recently had a webinar with an old friend of mine. His name's Nick Ranieri. I know Nick since college. We went together to school. We made a film. Highly recommend making films. It's a great way to learn the process. We had a distributor after we got out of college for our film. We made money on it for years. We won lots of awards, money through festivals as well and competitions. Most of Nick's career was at Disney Feature Animation, and you can find in our webinar section 2 webinars that I did with Nick. The first one is on his traditional career, where we did briefly TV series, commercials, and then most of Nick's career was working on feature films. He was a supervising animator for Walt Disney Studio. And then Disney stopped doing hand-drawn feature films. And we made that transition to computer animation. And the second webinar deals with what it was like to make that transition and to work on computer animated features.
Thank you, Calvin. So we have here 3 questions. So
Okay.
Yeah, the first one, do I need to have intermediate advanced drawing skills to learn 3D animation?
No, that's the short answer, but it's not a requirement. For most schools, you should have some proof that you're artistically inclined. We will have some lessons where you're learning to improve your drawing ability, because it's nice to do rough sketches, but you're primarily not drawing if you're doing 3D animation. You're learning how to move things properly, how to give a performance. Okay? And that's what our school does best, is we really specialized. If you want to do 3D animation, we're not forcing you to learn law and bookbinding and take English classes. You're coming and studying how to learn how to animate. Okay. Next question, please.
Okay, so can I combine courses? For example, 3D animation and concept art?
Yes, of course. It's your choice which order you want to take them in. Most people will take one and then the following year take the next one. But if you want to us to make a suggestion, we'll tell you which order we think you should be taking them in. And I believe there's a discount for taking 2 diploma courses as well.
Thank you.
Anybody signing up as well, and you can see it right here, guys, is we do have scholarships, partial scholarships. If you're deciding to come for a spring term, there's still a partial scholarship available up until the 28th of February, which is 5 days from now. So you'd have to apply quite quickly. Is there another question?
Yes. Do you require an animation portfolio to get accepted, or is just a general art portfolio?
Right. No, I don't expect you to already know how to animate. That's why you come to our school. So just give us some examples of your artwork, usually a minimum of 5 drawings. Whether they're drawings, paintings, sketches, digital, sculpting, something to show that previously you've been interested in the arts. Okay?
And do you think 2D animation will make a comeback? Is still worth studying? Is the good outlook on 2D animation work in major studios?
Yeah, we do teach 2D computer animation, and it is huge right now. Okay, they can't find enough people that do 2D computer animation for television series, for streaming series, online series, right? I highly recommend 2D. In terms of the classical hand-drawn, because you can do 2D computer by drawing it by hand as well, but it's not used as much as by using rigs in 2D. But traditional classical animation, it still exists in other parts of the world, parts of Europe. They still do feature films, but currently I'm not living in Europe anymore, so that's why I'm not doing it anymore. Okay.
Thank you, Calvin.
All right. I think that's it for our webinar. I really want to thank everybody for taking time out on their busy days. As always, you have a question, you have a comment, please contact us. Have a great day. Bye-bye.